Hi everyone, I'm Laura.
And I'm Sam.
And I'm Tongue.
And this is
Disney Dummies!
That's right. I would like to say bienvenidos, if I pronounce that correctly, to episode 6
What does that
of
mean?
Disney Dummies. It means welcome.
Oh, okay.
A little Spanish class today. The podcast where we go over your favorite classic Disney movies and basically rip them to shreds. No, I'm just kidding. We love these movies. At least we do most of them. Some of them we've never seen before, so maybe we'll discover that we love or maybe don't love some classic Disney movies that are straight out of the vault into our eye sockets. So today we are visiting perhaps a lesser known Disney movie, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Who's going to tell you what it is? It's Tom.
No, it's Sam.
It's me.
Who's going to tell you what it is? It's Sam.
It's me. Okay, so it's the year 1942.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And the film today is Saludos Amigos, which translates to greetings, friends.
Saludos amigos, a fond greeting to you, a warm handshake or two.
Which seems appropriate. It's a very
friends.
soft, light-hearted film. And we are just seeing some old friends, you know? We've got the gang back together. We've got Donald. We've got Goofy. No Mickey, though. But,
No Mickey.
you know, the Disney cartoon gang all together. We have some live action mixed in this one, as it's a very educational piece. We start with Walt Disney, and his animators in their studio working hard. And then we take a journey with them through animated plane map travel to the South Americas.
My favorite kind of travel.
I love when they do
It's
that
the best
stuff.
kind of travel. It is. It's
We
charming.
also saw it in Dumbo, right?
We did.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
love it.
Hovered over Florida.
Yeah, they're all about it. So again, much like I feel like last time I got the summary episode, it was also a series of shorts with Fantasia. So here we go again.
Yeah, it was.
Know your role.
But I'll keep these ones quick. There's not nearly as many. We've got the first. We've got the first segment. Each one kind of like informs you and teaches you about new things, right? So the first one, we venture to Lake Titicaca with Donald Duck.
May I just mention, I had no idea that was a real lake.
Is it called Titicaca?
Titicaca.
Titicaca.
Okay, just making sure.
Lake
I'm sure there's
Titicaca.
I'm probably saying it in a dirty way. Go on. I'm sorry.
Tongue. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Donald goes to the lake, kind of meets some locals, has some fun with his llama, and you know gets angry at stuff as Donald does. And then we move on to explore Santiago with Pedro, the little plane. We see this little plane go on his little post mail mission, and it's really just him flying around and conquering a storm there.
This young child plane.
This young child plane.
We'll talk
sent-
about it in hot takes.
Yeah, sent into the. You know, before I get too far ahead here, I probably should have went nostalgia first. Had any of us seen this before?
No.
Nope, I've never even heard of it.
I have heard of it, and I recognized the bird because I know he reappears in Three Caballeros. But
Yeah.
I didn't really know. Actually, I probably didn't know that he originated in this one.
And I think I mixed it up with Three Caballeros.
Yeah, so I guess I just kind of when I saw because the little icon on Disney Plus 2 is Goofy, and I was like, what is this Goofy Santiago or you know Goofy
Santiago.
Caballero Goofy Santiago movie? You're watching too much Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, but. So anyways, I don't think I'd seen it either. So I read in with zero expectations, but I feel like it kind of delivered on exactly what I thought it was going to be.
I think the next stretch of movies I've never seen
Yeah,
and
same.
never
Next
heard of.
4 or so.
Yeah, like it's going to be quite the ride, I think.
Yeah. So then we continue on to another short, this time featuring Goofy, where we learn about gauchos? Gauchos?
Gauchos.
I thought you said we learn about gout.
Okay, we learned about gout. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. Gauchos.
No,
and
that's right.
so there's a little like live action sequence before most of these shorts to like show us the animators studying what they're learning about before they give us a little Goofy short. No pun intended.
Very academic.
So Goofy does the regular Goofy stuff, which you know how I was like kind of harsh on Dopey and like whatever. I feel like maybe I'm just not into that trope of character. Maybe I'm just not into the
That's
Goofy trope.
You don't like the slapstick, like clumsy kind of character
I
who kind of
don't.
just like
I'm like,
fumbles
I
through
can't-
life.
Nah,
Sam, you would hate living with me.
No, I'm
Yeah,
sure
I've
it'd be
always
charming.
said Laura reminds me of Goofy and
Oh.
and Dopey.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Laura.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's mostly weird that he's still attracted to me.
Wait, Goofy or me?
It's silly.
Yeah. So Goofy dancing around with his horse. This is a whole little bit with him and his horse. Then we move on to our last segment, which we're introduced to. Oh, what's his name? Jose Carioco, which is the
karaoke.
which is the bird guy.
Yeah,
the
bird
The
guy.
parrot. Yeah, the parrot that's smoking and like knows the land. He's Mr. Cool. He's showing Donald
Yeah,
he's
around.
pretty
He
cool.
is Mr.
Yeah,
Cool.
he
He's
is Mr.
very
Cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Or, as you Americans say, huh? Let's go see the town.
Okay, so where do we go?
Don't know. I will show you the land of the samba.
Samba? What's samba?
Ah, the samba.
Yeah, no wonder he got his own film later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? And you called him a bird guy, and I would say he's more guy than bird because he, like, I don't like birds, but he didn't bother me.
Yeah,
I was okay
right?
with Jose.
Did he
How
fly?
do you
in
feel about
this?
Donald?
Donald, I'm also okay with because he's more guy than bird.
It's true. Donald was always my
Interesting.
favorite of the like Mickey Mouse gang. I really like Donald.
And he has hands, right?
Yeah.
I don't like when they don't have hands.
Donald has hands.
Yeah,
Yes,
has
he
hands.
does. He
Yeah,
does with hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I've never thought about before now.
Yeah.
I guess he
Real
Which is
should
strange
have
because
wings.
You
Yeah.
always talk about animator hands or animation hands.
I know.
so-
You'd think I would have brought this up. That's weird. Yeah, I guess anthropomorphic characters get hands, but I just never considered the bird should have wings. But anyways, moving on. I think that, so that's the final short. And then they're just kind of like, hey, see you later. Hope you learned something. Saludos Amigos. And that's the short 45-minute film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
quick one.
That's
Do you
a
think
tight one.
saludos mean both hello and goodbye?
It just said greetings in the translation I saw, but greetings could
Maybe.
maybe.
Like
Do you ever
hello?
say greetings when you leave the room? Like greetings?
No,
No.
not
No.
really. I guess
Or
not.
like salutations. I would never say
Perhaps.
salutations.
Yeah.
But if I
I
were,
would.
I would say it if I saw you. But I don't think I'd say it if I were leaving. Something to think
Yeah.
about.
So
Something to chew on.
And then I don't think this is based on any books. I think Disney literally was just like, let's go to South America and animate
Yeah.
stuff. So it's really just, again, like what we've been seeing here is like animation to music, gag related stuff. No real, much like in Fantasia, there's no real like super plot to this movie. It's just kind of 3 little snippets. Maybe the airplane one kind of has a plot, but the rest are not so much.
Right.
Yeah. I read one thing that described it as a glorified travel brochure.
Yeah, a little bit.
I do like that.
I like that as well. But yeah, that's the summary. I don't know. You guys have a favorite one?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh yeah.
I did like the Donald one a lot, in part because as it started, and I think this is partially how it aged, I was like, is this like a spoof of something? But I don't think spoofs were a thing in the 1940s. But I was very confused at first. I'm like, is this even a real place? And then it was. And so it was just like a story of Donald visiting a real place, but it was Gag City, especially when he was out on that boat and like he touched the boat and it fell apart. And then the wind picked up and he went flying through the sail. That was really funny.
Oh yeah. There's some good stuff.
There's
like
some
that.
good gags going on there. And there's also like, I think near the end of Donald's like short, he made the classic Donald warble noise. He'd like that.
Oh, that's
That
really
one?
good.
Was that me?
Yeah, that was you.
Oh, that's pretty good. Sam's doing it too, though, right?
Oh, Sam's doing
Okay,
it too.
yeah, okay.
I am not doing that, to be clear to the audience. I do not know how to.
But yeah, that's just like a fun. Every time I hear that, I'm like, oh, Donald, get out of here. But yeah, I liked that one. I definitely liked that one. And there was one other bit that I really liked. I think it must have been in the in Pedro's short where it showed a skeleton of an airplane.
Yeah, yeah.
It was really funny.
Yeah, when the lightning struck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say for me, I really like the Pedro one. I think it was just for me, it was just different, I guess. And I was just seeing like a new character, which I didn't like particularly recognize or anything like that. Not that it was like an amazing story or anything like that. I just thought it was like charming. It reminds me of like a very shortened version of like Planes, like the Pixar movie.
I was gonna say, I was like, this is a
short.
precursor to those designs.
Just
for
like
sure.
really cute planes having personalities.
Yeah.
I thought there was like something to it, and I was really drawn to that one. The other one I was really drawn to was the final one, obviously, and I really loved Jose, but also the painting and like stuff coming to life from that was just super creative. And then throwing Donald in for like a second short in the only. Was it 4 shorts in this whole thing? Having him in that one partnered up with Jose made like a nice fun contrast between the two. A fun part that I remember was when Jose is speaking like just a lot and Donald has no idea what he's saying. So he starts pulling out dictionary on dictionary on dictionary. And I thought that was super funny, even though it's like a really tired old gag, but he had so many dictionaries.
Yeah. I love the painting in that one too. And I don't know if you guys ever get this, but on my Facebook feed these days, I get a lot of craft videos, which is just like watching someone do a craft. And I find them very soothing. And it reminded me a little bit of that, of just like watching the paintbrush do its magic work. But then it turned into some other stuff. So it kind of went in a different direction than my Facebook videos.
The other really fun part of that short, I think I have a few written down here, but I really like this. It just goes to show how cool Jose is. Yeah. And, you know, we always talk about which character fucks and Jose fucks. And I would say like Donald drinks his like drink and then it's too hot. So he like, he breathes it out basically and it creates like a dragon flame and instantly it lights up the cigar of Jose and he's just like sucking it in but has no like he just loves it. I think that's just super cool.
Yeah, I have a good casting dream for Jose. I think it should be the guy that plays the Mandalorian. What's his name?
Pedro Pascal.
yeah. I feel
amazing.
like it could be him. He's like cool and like I don't know. I could see it. I'm thinking of his like Game of Thrones. Yeah, I'm thinking of that.
All I could picture was the Mandalorian, and I'm like, he wears a helmet though.
No, I'm picturing him more in Game of Thrones, but yeah. Yeah, I really like that one too. I really like the colors in the opening part of that sequence, and also there was some really cool effects, like trippy animation happening to like start that one off, which I quite liked. And I feel like the colors really wake you up after the previous few.
Yeah, you could definitely see the influence of Fantasia in like in that short in particular, but also the movie and how it's like a series of these little vignettes. I loved the song. What was it? I think it's called, I looked it up, Aquarela do Brasil. When it came on, so that's like the main theme in the Jose short. And if anyone wants to check it out online, Leslie Odom Jr., who played Aaron Burr in Hamilton, does a mean cover of this song.
Really? Yeah. I remember liking the music in this movie, but I can't I don't remember any for maybe obvious reasons, but maybe I just remember Saludos Amigos, and then there's more, and I was like, "Well, this is nice," but I can't like sing along with it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Maybe it's a language barrier thing. Maybe
Tongue was singing it earlier today, and all I could think of was, what is it? How does that song start? Bermuda. Bahamas, but it was like Saludos Amigos.
I gotta say the plane one was probably my least favorite, to be honest. I didn't love it. I was a little bored, and like I just don't give a fuck about modes of transportation as characters.
You know what? I had a dream. I had a dream last night that I was on a plane that crashed.
Wow.
And I think that it was because of this movie.
Oh, wow. That's
Because he sort of crash lands at the end.
That's
It was
unfortunate.
fine. We landed on water and we all managed to get off of the plane.
and the little plane was
in my
fine at
dream,
the
so-
end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I think like, yeah, I'm not sure if I would say like Pedro was my favorite one. I was drawn to it because it was something I haven't really seen, and
Pedro
I've
was
seen
pretty
Donald and
cute.
Goofy. Yeah,
It could have been like a Pixar short.
exactly. But like the Goofy stuff, I also I like Goofy quite a lot, and I thought the horse in that short was really funny. We just finished doing a top 5 fictional horses not long ago, and I was just thinking like how this horse is so. He's so sassy, this horse. Like I love the bits of like Goofy making like a mattress as a saddle and then like sleeping on the horse, and the horse instantly is like, nah, you're not sleeping on me. So he does like a backflip, and now Goofy's on the bottom of it. And then like there was like a really fun bit in the Goofy one where they're doing it again in slow motion, and like they all kind of tumble down on each other, and there's like a whole like series of unfortunate events that happen when they throw it all into slow-mo. I'm not sure if you guys, do you remember that?
No.
It's kind of like when they're trying to catch.
Whoa. Yeah, slow-mo, did you just say?
Yeah, the slow-mo, yeah.
I 100% made note of that, because animation standpoint, nobody fucking wants to animate slow motion. That is insane, and I can't. I'll get started on this like the hands. It's just like a hard thing to do. It requires so much more work, and like, oh my god. That was
Can
pretty
you
cool.
describe, I mean, we're not on the animation angle, but can you describe that while we're here? Like, why is it so much harder, I guess?
I feel like my animation angle is just going to morph into the episodes. I usually end up touching on things before I even get there. But yeah, well, I mean, if you think about it, just like logically, these are hand-drawn frames, and slow motion takes longer. So you're doing like triple the amount of like frame drawing because they have to hold longer. So it's just that much more work and detail, and you can't. I mean, Goofy is usually a really snappy character. Like if you use your arrows and like go through this frame by frame, usually he moves like pretty fast and you can get away with some pretty cool things. But when you're moving in slow motion, you have to move that hand like inch by inch by inch and make sure that it still looks correct and the volumes are intact and it's still a good drawing. And it's just like, there's no wiggle room. There's no room for error when you're doing slow motion. Like everything has to look perfect or else you're going to see it a lot more. So as soon as they started doing animation on screen that was slow motion, I was like, ugh, that's brutal.
Is it the same when they're doing like rewinding and stuff like that? Or can they reuse stuff when they rewind?
Yeah, when you rewind, you can reuse stuff. And it's going a lot faster usually because it's like... And so you definitely have room for error because your eye won't catch everything. But when things are moving slowly, I mean, think about like driving out a window. Like if you're looking out the window, driving fast by things, you're not going to notice the shapes or whatever as much as if you're like walking by a building, right? I mean, the same kind of logic applies. Like it's just moving slowly. So you have to be really like articulate about what you're doing and make sure it works. And it's just a lot harder.
Yeah, I thought that was like a really creative bit. And I also liked it because even when they said, let's replay it in slow motion, like a different series of events happened because they did it in slow motion. That was like really cool because
fun gag.
I'm like, well, they could have just done the whole thing over again and it would have been the same. But instead, it's just they all get captured or whatever. They all get tied up by Goofy's kind of like misfortune. Yeah, and I kept like making note of the horse, but the horse plays piano and and knows how to dance. I said wears a dance, and I don't know what that was supposed to be. Maybe it wears like some fancy clothes. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, it had like a cute outfit on.
Oh right, because Goofy and the horse dance with each other, and then Goofy's like pants get on fire, and then he map travels all the way to his house somehow. I think that was really fun.
Map travel.
Going back to the llama one, because we barely like touched on that one. What did everyone think about the llama dancing and stuff like that to like the music and stuff?
I don't remember it.
Well, the llama was like a pretty big part of that one, I think.
Is that Donald's?
Yeah, it was the first one. And it was basically like when music was playing, the llama would basically move its ass to the sound of the music. And then when Donald gets the instruments, the llama can't stop but move its ass, even though he or they is really like frustrated because Donald's doing such a shitty job playing the music.
This is not about the llama, but there was a line when they were describing like the actual dancers in one of the countries they visited where they said there is perpetual motion below the equator. I wrote that down because I thought it was really funny, but now I'm also like picturing a llama as I read those words, which is kind of fun.
And the llama was pretty
Get
cute.
a
I
llama?
mean, character design wise, it's funny to like look at that llama versus like what we get later in Emperor's New Groove too. Like I feel like they're really starting to go cartoony and cutesy with their designs on things. Like everything is really coming together starting now.
Sorry everyone, that was a spoiler that there's a llama in Emperor's New Groove. Apologies.
Oh, shit.
We should have
Yeah,
warned you.
we're not getting to that film for a while. They're going to forget about this.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like obviously a super short movie. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what else. Like I wrote a bunch of notes during it, but I don't really have any other standout moments in here.
And there's not like a plot through line for us to work with, right? It's
Yeah, no, they're just
kinda hard to
stories.
have strong feelings about
Yeah.
any elements of it.
Well, I guess the question is, did you two like it?
Uh,
Like,
I
how do you
mean-
feel about it?
Well, I forgot both the horse and the llama, mostly. I have only vague memories of them already, so I would say it's fairly forgettable for me.
Yeah, we only watched this like 2 days ago, Laura.
No, we
so-
watched this on on Sunday or Monday. That's a long stretch.
So it's been 3 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I
Yeah,
feel
it's been a
like
while.
I feel like if you don't have the nostalgia thing for shorts, then they might not do it for you. I mean, cartoons are such a different style now than they used to be. And like our attention spans as viewers are so much different now than they used to be and like what entertains us. So I think even like watching other old Mickey shorts that I used to love, like the pacing is very different than we're used to now. So I think coming at this as new viewers, I think if we grew up with this, we'd be like, yeah, we love this. We love Donald. We loved watching this. But without that nostalgia attached to it, it's kind of slow and like Laura said, like forgettable almost because you're just
Yeah.
kind of watching a series of gags. There's no like emotional resonance
Mhm.
at all.
Yeah. Well, I think that one of the main notes I wrote at the very beginning was like, am I supposed to be learning right now?
I think
Exactly.
so. I think
And-
so.
And because of that, like, because there was a lot of like, live action sequences to kind of like set up what the animators were thinking before
Yeah.
they came up with the short and stuff like that, which, is a really cool idea. Not knocking that, but just because I wasn't really prepared for that, I was just prepared for I don't even know what I was prepared for because I didn't know what this was about.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure if it would have been better if it was just short after short after short, but the preamble before the short, even though it is technically fascinating,
Mhm.
was kind of boring because I don't want to learn. I wasn't in the mood to learn.
You're here for
anything.
gags.
Yeah, I'm here for the gags. I'm here for the like.
Well,
the
you
most
don't
memorable
learn
stuff.
much in the animation. I feel like they teach you before with the live action, and then they're like, "Here's some
and like
fun."
the animation stuff is so like outlandish, anyways, that you're not.
Yeah.
I don't even think you're supposed to be learning anything. But
Mhm.
like the my favorite parts of this movie is the animation, obviously, and how like ridiculous it can get, and the slapstick gags that you get with Goofy and Donald and that horse and that llama and Jose. Like those are like the good parts of the film. But like a quarter of the film is maybe not a quarter, but a large part of the film, a good chunk of it is just live action sequence in black and white.
Yeah. I think this might be a good time to transition into fun facts because I think there might be a few fun facts that might explain why the movie was made the way it
Right.
was.
And in Disney Dummies, we don't actually call them fun facts.
I'm
but,
sorry. God, I'm so sorry. It's called Disney Diginos.
Thank you. No, you're not. It's okay, Laura. You'll get the hosting gig one day.
I'm new to this.
It will click in someday. So we are going to Disney Diginos, and I will lead that here. And this was a hard one to find. I mean, Sam, I think you said there was no like original source material for this, but you're right.
think so.
Yeah,
no.
I think you're right. I think it was just they took a trip and to Brazil, and they're like, hey, we can make stuff out of this, basically. But I do have a couple fun facts that I found on the intraweb. So here we go. Saludos Amigos was premiered in Rio de Janeiro on August 24th, 1942. It was released in the United States on February 6th, 1943, and it was theatrically reissued in 1949 when it was shown on a double bill with the first reissue of Dumbo. This movie and the Three Caballeros were created by Disney in order to improve the United States of America's relations with South American countries during World War II. So that's kind of interesting. This was the first Disney animated feature to be shown in South America before it was screened in the USA. The footage of the team boarding the plane was staged after the trip when the decision was made to use home movie footage as linking material.
They faked it.
Exactly.
Bunch of fakers.
Disney realized they had no footage of the real boarding, so everyone dressed in the same outfits they left with and shot footage of them leaving the studio and going into the plane. While the film's animated sequences were well received at the time and still have a decent reputation, film historians have suggested that it was the film's live action documentary sequences which had the most impact on American culture. Which is interesting because I was just saying how that was the least interesting thing for me.
That's where you like learn stuff. Like we said, the animation just gags. Like,
well, and I think it was like the intro to where they showed Rio de Janeiro, where like, I mean, this is what 70 years later. 70, 80 years later, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that Rio looked like that.
It's
cool.
true. Yeah, you're right.
It looked like not that different from many major American cities, but I think a lot of Americans perceived South America as like everyone there was peasants who lived in the country kind of thing.
And I guess with that, it makes this movie a little bit more timeless in a sense, or like at least historical, because otherwise it would just be a series of, animated shorts and whatever. Although I was getting like big Looney Tune vibes from some of the shorts for sure. I wrote that earlier too. Okay, so the Pedro segment inspired by the Chilean cartoonist Rene Rios Bodeguer. In 1949, his most famous character was Condorito, which became one of the most popular comic strip characters around the world. The shorts that formed this movie were originally intended to be released separately, but were combined to form this movie because it had been decided that each short would only be of interest to the people whose country it depicted. Therefore, footage of the Disney team on location in South America was used to make the framing sequence around the original shorts. That's basically it. But anyways, yeah, so Pedro was huge inspiration for one of the most, I think that was the more interesting thing. Condorito, I've never heard of the character comic. Have you? Condorito. It's like this most popular comic strip character around the world. One of the most.
Condorito.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Jose.
I'm looking. I'm seeing. And you're saying he's famous?
He's famous, at least, around the world, it says.
I'm reading launch date 49 for him. 1949.
I didn't really see the connection to this movie, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the Pedro inspired it, because Pedro was the plane, right?
Yeah.
But this is the bird who looks like Jose, so wouldn't Jose?
This seems
think
weird.
Jose would have inspired it, right?
Yeah,
I'm also seeing there's a trailer for this Condorito guy in 2017. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Can I share some?
It was the first movie released in February. That's my fun fact.
I guess my last fun fact is that it is the shortest Disney animated feature at 42 minutes.
Whoa.
So out of all of them.
To be honest, it felt longer than that. I put it on and I was like, nice 42-minute. And then like halfway through, I was like, oh my God, isn't this over?
Yeah, it dragged.
It's funny, if you replay all of our episodes so far, we basically said that for every single one of them.
I thought Bambi was pretty close to perfect. Okay,
in length.
I thought it could have been longer.
Whoa.
Yeah, probably.
They needed to do some like emotional resolution for his mother. But anyways,
okay,
we're
not on Bambi.
We're not on Bambi.
Past Bambi. I'm not over it.
Save it for the past.
Yeah.
So you guys know how little Pedro risked his life to deliver that postcard?
Yes.
Yeah. The postcard had a name on it, and the name was Jorge Delano, who was a cartoonist who kind of like showed the whole group around on their tour of South America. There's a fun fact for you.
Disney, did you know?
Yes. Yeah, Disney did you know? Disney did you know? That song that I mentioned earlier that I really liked, Aquarela de Brazil, it was like a semi-well-known song in Brazil before, but then it went on to become an international hit that has survived 80 years later. So cool. Check it out sometime. Pedro, our little friend the plane, went on to have 4 crossovers with Dumbo, naturally, because they both fly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And finally, Lake Titicaca is the largest lake by volume in South America.
There you go.
Did you know?
Disney.
Did not know.
Did you know?
Yeah, now you do.
That's it for the Disney Did You Knows. I'm sure Sam has more on our animation angle, so I'll throw it back to you, Sam.
Okay, I don't have a ton to talk about today in the animation angle. I mean, we talked about slow motion, which was a big one. I did think it was funny in the live action parts when they're all like studying and like doing stuff. It's really, really bizarre to me to see the animators and the artists in suits. That's such a product of its time. Like nobody at my fucking work wears suits. No, like maybe like the production people, and even they don't wear. They're like in leather jackets too. Like let's be honest. Like it's just so weird seeing them all dressed up in like such proper businessmen. Because I'm like this. Like in my heart of hearts, I'm wondering if they were like actually like proper like that, or if they were like forced to suit up, or like I'm very curious as to.
I feel like
I'd love to sit down and talk to one of them.
Yeah, but I like Laura just said, I feel like everyone back in the day dressed up for working that way, right? Like it's only like in recent memory where people started going lax with like business casual, and now like you'll see a lot of modern like especially high tech jobs and animation jobs or whatever stuff like that is all kind of like wear what you want as long as it's not offensive.
It's fascinating insight into the animators of today though, Sam.
Oh yeah, we're grubs. We're grubs.
If I ever want to be an animator for Halloween, I should get a leather jacket.
There's
if Laura and I go in like a fancy suit in an interview for an animation job, will we be laughed at?
Oh, 100%. You do not.
But that's just because of our lack of skills, not our outfits.
I think it would be both. I mean, yeah. So that stuck out to me a lot. Slow motion. I just got to touch. I mean, I've said I'm a sucker for like snappy animation tongue. You kind of talked about how this felt Looney Tunesy. As much as I don't care for like the goofy character, his animation I could watch, I feel like all day. It's super fun. It's super weird. And like you said, the Looney Tunes-esque thing you're feeling is just that snappy animation where like he does things that are bizarre. And I would love to just frame by frame his whole section, really. So Goofy's really cool. And then we were talking briefly about the colors there too. This film, Mary Blair, was a big part of the concept art and stuff. And I feel like, I don't know if we've talked about her name before. I can't remember if she came up on either. She might have actually, I think she was in Fantasia as well. But she was a Disney concept artist and designer, helped design It's a Small World After All and a bunch of things. But she is like classified as a Disney legend. So her colors really show through, I think, in that last short with the bird. We're going to see a lot of her in the next few movies, but I recommend everybody Google images Mary Blair and look at how charming and fucking fun all her like colors and designs are, because it is amazing.
Oh, you know what? They talked about her on the Imagineering documentary series on Disney Plus. Yeah, that's where I heard of her.
She's like a huge name, and like she is insane, the insanely talented. So I think a lot of the early Disney stuff would not be the same without her. Like she is a huge, huge component of all these early films and what they look like. So
well done, Mary.
Yeah, fucking bravo. Give Mary a clap, everybody.
Mary Kondo, bravo.
No. But yeah, that's all for my animation angle for this
That's
week.
your animation angle for tonight. Wonderful. Well, we'll throw down some hot takes next, I think.
Takes?
Hot takes?
Hot takes.
The hot takes?
I
don't know that I wrote any hot takes for this
I don't know
one.
that there are a lot of hot takes to this film.
I already gave...
that makes our intro to hot takes way less exciting.
Hype.
Yeah.
So yeah, for hot takes, while I was watching, because I've been writing down hot takes as the movie goes on for every single one of these movies up until this movie. When I was reviewing my notes today, I was like, I have no hot takes, but it wouldn't be a hot take section without manufacturing hot takes at the last minute. For sure. So I have here a couple hot takes.
Okay.
I'll do one at a time. My first hot take, we kind of alluded to this, but the plane parents are bad parents.
Yeah, I agree. He can barely fly.
Yeah, the plane just learned. The little plane just learned how to fly.
They should be charged with child exploitation.
It reminds me a little bit of a Geppetto situation where he's just so trusting of Pinocchio, but they're like so trusting of this little plane to be like, "Hey, go get the delivery, bring it back here. Yeah, you can fly to that scary mountain that just like looks at you and very ominously."
Although
and then
they specifically told him not to do that.
It's true, but there's then that thunderstorm, and then you think the plane dies at the end, the little plane. Bad parents.
Bad parents.
Bad parents.
You know who else is a bad person? Goofy and his tri-ball lasso that he was throwing at that. Was he trying to catch the horse, or was he trying to catch the ostrich thing?
It was the ostrich. It was the ostrich. That's what it was.
That thing looked freaking painful. It was like these 3 balls attached on a string, and they looked really heavy.
Yeah.
It would hit hard.
But in the slow-mo, he messes it up and it hits him instead. And he flies off the horse and then it wraps around all of them. So
I do remember
he
that.
got his.
Yeah, he got his.
Sam, do you got any hot takes?
I really don't. I have nothing hot to say about this movie. Yeah.
That's okay. You don't have to.
I was going to say, I usually like tongue write them as I go as well, but just nothing came up.
That's okay. I wrote them like earlier, just like trying to remember as hard as I can anything that could happen and anything I can turn into a hot take.
My hot take is I would like to try some asados. Only I don't want it hot. I want it medium rare.
It's good. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I said I would pay money to smoke a cigar with Jose. I think that would be that'd be good. It's not really a hot take. It's more like I want to do that.
Go on.
This isn't a hot take. It's kind of like an animation angle, just general thought. As well. And I
we already closed up that. Okay, go ahead.
Do you have more hot takes?
Of course, I made a bunch.
Oh, okay.
He made them up on the spot. He's an improviser.
No. Go do your animation angle. No, I want to hear. I want to hear your animation angle.
Well, let's see if I can twist it into a hot take somehow. I want to see more. No, can't do it. I was wondering if this was the first time we've seen. I know Looney Tunes does it a lot, and I know it's probably come up elsewhere a lot. So I didn't research it, but I like the whole like Jose, when he like comes in, they're like interacting with the paintbrush. You know, the paintbrush is there and the characters are like interacting with the artist. I like that whole like artist dealing with the cartoon kind of bit, which I feel like is, like I said, very Looney Tunesy. But I was like, as we were watching it, I was like, is this the first time that we've seen the like characters like breaking the fourth wall or whatever, like dancing with the paintbrush? So I really like that.
So Sam, your hot take. Your hot take is that you like it. Sam, that's warm at best.
My
hot question.
My hot take is the paintbrush should have had its own short.
Oh, that's something.
That is a hot take.
That would be very soothing. I feel like the watching stuff being painted is like the visual version of ASMR, and I'm here for it. My other hot take is that trees shouldn't turn into birds.
That's true. That does happen, doesn't it?
I didn't like that.
Or was it a branch that turned into a bird? I can't remember.
It was a tree.
A whole tree?
I think so. It happened several times, so it maybe sometimes it was a branch, sometimes a whole tree.
Maybe. My other hot take is I mentioned the saddle, that mattress saddle that Goofy has, and he's just like kind of sleeping on it. I think that would make a fair amount of money if you create a bed saddle for a horse. I'm not sure how the logistics would work, but somehow you would maneuver in a way that you can have like something cozy that you can kind of just sleep on a horse while riding it.
Have you ever ridden a horse before?
Nope, I never did.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I rode a horse. It was terrible.
I like riding horses. It's fun. Except for this one horse who kept trying to run into the trees to knock me off, but it was fine. I survived.
And if you had that mattress, you wouldn't have cared because you'd be sleeping.
Possibly. But then what's the point of being on a horse?
Travel.
Oh, no. I was on the horse for fun, not for travel.
Okay.
Imagine. My last hot take is actually going to be delivered by a guest. So if we could just go ahead and welcome into the room. What do you have to say? Wow.
Whoa.
That was controversial.
Wow.
All right.
This is insane. I feel like Laura is unlocking a skill I've never seen her do before. So
You could do it. I'll show you how later.
I don't want to do it.
Now
on
we've
air.
learned this episode that Laura is both Goofy and Donald.
Yeah.
I can't do Goofy.
Go ahead.
No, but
How
you
do I
said
do
you
Goofy?
are Goofy.
Yeah, you're
You
goofy
said you
because
I
are
see.
Goofy.
Yes, this makes more sense
Let me-
because I'm clumsy.
Yeah. I can't do it. I can't do it.
That was pretty good. That was
I like it. It's funny because it looks like you're choking.
well, that's what he does. He does a little bit.
That's true.
This is an audio format. People can't see what I'm trying to do here, but there was a good little while where I was playing. This is a little tangent. I was playing Kingdom Hearts, and that has all Disney characters, and I'm like, I'm gonna learn how to do Goofy, and I could not. It's really hard. His voice is hard. I feel.
Yeah. Stick with Mickey. You're good at Mickey. Kids love it. That sounds slightly terrifying. One last hot take, Tom? Are you done?
Yeah, it's more of a question that I'm posing for you two.
Well, this isn't the question section.
I know, but it's a hot question.
Okay.
Because we talked about paintbrushes and all that stuff. If you had a paintbrush that would bring something to life, what would you draw?
Certainly wouldn't be a bird.
Okay. Anything right now. And it has to be in the realm of something you can draw.
I can't draw anything.
I can draw anything too.
I can't draw shit.
You know what? Like a beach.
You
Okay.
draw
Okay.
a page, bring it to life, huh?
What about you? I know you got something. I can tell.
No. I was just asking this to you. Right
tell
now, it's I'm kind of hungry again, so probably like a pizza or something.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was thinking some kind of like cool, fluffy alien pet that could talk. But
Stitch?
Oh, so see, Sam, when you do that, the thing with the paintbrush, I'm making up rules for this paintbrush now, but we've never seen the paintbrush erase anything before. So I think as soon as you bring it to life, it is there forever.
So Stitch.
Now, if you bring an alien to life, you just got to deal with the consequences of that. Are you prepared for that?
I
Yeah, he can handle
I
it.
mean, if I'm gonna paint something and it's gonna come to life, I want it to be cool. Like, I don't know, a
All right.
piece of pizza, it'll be gone so fast. You're gonna eat it.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
don't
I
know.
should have
You
chosen
know what?
better.
Actually, no, you're right. You're right. Maybe I'd draw like a giant barrel full of wine, but like the barrel's like the size of my house.
But like with a special technology where it's always fresh.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
true. And
yeah,
can you
yeah. It
keep
doesn't go
drawing more
bad.
wine? Can you
I'll
keep
just
drawing more
add
wine
like
as it
a
empties?
sign. Yeah, I'll just add a sign on it that says forever. Or it's like, there's like I feel like in D&D you can get a like bottomless bottle of wine that just magically like fills up all the time. It would be like that.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
That'd be all right.
I'd come over.
Yeah, right?
That's it. We're
Yeah.
closing up the hot takes.
Well, okay, so that brings us to the end of episode 6. Pretty impressive that we've made it through 6 episodes already.
That's
6
crazy.
Disney films, one that I'd never seen before, one that I don't know whether I'd seen before, but anyways, here we are.
Fantasia?
So, anybody want to spoil what we've got next week? It's not really a spoiler at this point. We're just going to tell
as
you.
host, you have to say it.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
It is the 3 Caballeros. Only I'm not
Whoa.
sure whether it's Caballeros or Caballeros.
Caba-
But we'll
We'll
get
figure it
back
out.
to you next week
We'll
and
figure
let
it
you
out.
know. Yeah,
Directly after this.
yeah, it's the next one.
Yeah, that's
These
interesting.
two were kind of made as a pair
It is
to
interesting.
improve U.S. South America relations.
And is it? Well, none of us have seen this.
I haven't.
No.
Oh, you know what? I think I did when I was young. I think my Oma had a copy of it.
So do I have to learn? Is my question? Is
Guys,
this?
can I teach us things?
Yeah, is there more like
Oh,
learning and live action and stuff?
There's live action in it, I'm pretty sure. But I think it's a little bit more of a traditional. I don't think it's like the documentary style.
Okay.
Yeah, from what I remember, I think they're like visiting. These characters are visiting like real life spots or something. But there's a ride based on the movie at Disney World in Epcot. So
Okay.
most of my memory of it comes from there.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
I can't wait. Frankly,
I've been Googling it, and some weird pictures are coming up. I'll show you guys later.
did.
Yeah, show us later.
All right, friends. Well, that brings us to the end. And of course, we're going to sign off in the same way we always do by singing to you.
Why don't you do it in the Donald? Try to sing it in the
I'm
Donald
not.
Duck. You got it.
not.
You've
I
already
can't.
unlocked the skill during the podcast.
I can't do notes as Donald.
You haven't even tried.
Da, 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 da. You guys are the worst. Bye, everyone. Bye.